Hi Aries, welcome to your mid-August 2022 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. That's your card, in case you didn't know. The Magician. Kind of almost like a subdued magician version, in a way, you could say. All right. Let me see so I can... The heart of the matter is the Magician card, which is a card connected to Aries. Interestingly, just like, I don't know, this is not, the Rider-Waite deck. I don't know if the Rider-Waite deck has the infinity. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does have the infinity symbol, the sideways 8, just like the Strength card. And I was just hearing about the Lionsgate portal, which is during this time frame, an 8-8, or that's the height of it. And that's supposed to be really good for manifesting things. So that is heightened at this time. And then on the 11th, we have a full moon in Aquarius. And this is the 11th house, which is the house of hopes and wishes. So, making your dreams come true is what the Magician card is all about, but it aligns with the astrology astrology of this time frame as well, going into the middle of the month. And yet a lot of people, including me in the past, would think that the magic is about something just being produced from nothing and just kind of randomly appearing. And once I learned about the law of attraction, but also about our responsibility within that to make something happen, magic became more appealing to me. When it just seemed like random, materialization, it didn't hold as much appeal. But the more that I saw that I had a big part in it, the more that I was really tuned into it and I really embraced it. So that's how I feel for everybody else, is that you have to believe that you have what it takes. The Magician, I think that's another big thing that the Magician card is about, is that you have everything you need. And a lot of people don't realize that because they have ideas sometimes that are grandiose and they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to need all this money to get this started. I'm going to need connections, whatever. And that's when it's one thing to dream big, but when you're really putting things together, you have to be willing to start small, to do things, to take baby steps. And Aries people tend to be impatient and they just want to cut to the chase. Okay, I just want this to materialize for me. And you have to be patient for the process and respect the process. In the past position is the Four of Swords. So you see that this person is resting, and this card can be all about, taking a breather, kind of stepping out of the action. Did you catch that this is a nest? And maybe that's because the number 4, if you think about in astrology, is connected to the house of home and family. And I always think of the nest when I think of the home. So perhaps some Aries people experienced burnout in terms of what you were doing, burning the candle at both ends. Aries is a very active sign. You're a cardinal sign. And you're a very energetic sign, but even an Aries person is a mere mortal, at least, of course you're immortal too, but I'm saying your body is mortal. So you have to be balanced, and maybe you weren't balanced and you burned out and you had to take a step back, or it could just be even like a vacation. But if it's a vacation, I feel like it's just not a very like active, like you're doing everything, but just kind of trying to recharge your batteries more than anything else. And because the swords are thoughts, you may be trying to kind of like organize your thoughts or rest your mind. Um, but the number 4 is about organization and discipline, and that is always important as well. So we need that period of time where we can not think. The higher message is the 9 of Wands. This is about boundaries. The Sun and Aries people can have inner planets in Pisces, like Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Pisces. I mean, the moon can be any sign, the rising sign can be any sign. All these personal points are not going to be dictated by uh, the close proximity to Aries, but definitely Mercury is, Venus is, Mars is to a lesser degree, and so you might have Mars in Pisces, and this can lead, and of course you could have Moon in Pisces or some other sign like Libra, which tends to give in when it say yes when it means no. The 9 of Wands as boundaries means that you have to be cooperative in life, but at the same time draw the line and know how to do that. Aries people tend to be quite, the classic Aries person is very brusque, very self-oriented, and if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. But like I said, some people do have a strong influence from other places that come in and make you less able to do that. And then the bottom line is you can feel that sense of burnout because your boundaries are too porous, so to speak. And you have to know when to say no, when to say yes, and to do so in a way for all of these things that is quite confident without being aggressive. Some people, they get angry that they have to say no, so they kind of are jerks about it, and being able to say no in a very agreeable tone is, or say no, thank you, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That is something to cultivate. What crosses you is the 8 of Swords, so there could be some old programming that doesn't serve you, that is still influencing you, dictating to you how, what you decide to do, what you feel about something. So really check in with yourself and make sure that everything that you feel is coming from a genuine place inside of yourself. Because I think it's very normal for all of us to have parts of ourselves that are coming from projections that were given to us, and we have to sort those out. Is this me? Is this not me? Sometimes we do think the same way somebody else does, and that's why we attract that individual into our lives. But I'm talking about early programming, so usually it's going to be parents, but there are other adults that this can involve, society as a whole. And, whether you're talking about success, because I think with the magician, an Aries, it could be like, what am I attracting into my life? What am I creating? What am I co-creating? If you don't feel successful, and this is also going to be, if you want to call it complicated, or impacted by Chiron transiting your sign, where you feel a little bit more sensitive to how you perceive yourself. That's a good thing for an Aries person, because usually you can be quite rough and tough, and it's good to have a little bit of I was going to say humility, because there's a cocky side to Aries where you're forced to be humble. You feel humbled for some reason, and you may not feel like the magician. Maybe you feel like you thought you were invincible. You thought you could do it all, and you can't. And you realize that. And when you truly embrace that what maybe you were trying to do wasn't aligned with your highest good for whatever reason, maybe you were just getting too caught up in the material energy or the ego side of things, and you were not really in service to others mode, you were more serving yourself, then you can get back on track a lot easier. What is coming in is the High Priestess. There you go. Sometimes I like grab these cards and I'm not even, or put them out and I'm not even focused on that. So this is absolutely perfect. You see that half moon, that really speaks to the intuitive side of life. What's coming in is the High Priestess. And again, with Chiron in your sign and Jupiter in your sign too, don't forget about that, there is this emphasis on the philosophical, spiritual, and, especially since Jupiter's turning inwards, tuning into your, sense of yourself at the deepest level, rather than how do I look to the world, but how do you look to yourself? The High Priestess you can associate it with the higher self. And so that isn't like basing everything on practical matters, but more about how you are cultivating that connection to God. And that sometimes is what leads to crashing and burning, is because people are forgetting that connection. And you see that the High Priestess is right under that Four of Swords. So the idea to me, of the Four of Swords can even be like meditation. And that is the way that you cultivate the connection to your higher self and the divine. The outcome is the Eight of Cups. You may be leaving something behind that no longer serves you, no longer fulfills you emotionally, spiritually. And I feel like you'll be able to walk away from it very confidently, not kind of like going, am I making the right decision? It's something that is a long time coming, perhaps, and it took a certain event where you felt yourself maybe drained or what have you, maybe even losing your job in some cases, something where you had to realize that you are a conscious co-creator, that you don't depend on outer sources for your good in life. And then you kind of switch back into that person, because I really think Aries people are good at doing that, are good at making things happen. But sometimes it's good to have a little bit of questioning your ability to do that, because you can get caught up in appearances and maybe some kind of a comfort level that really is not what Aries is about. Aries is always walking on a wire, is always kind of like courting danger, not in a toxic way, in a very kind kind of keeping yourself, the word that kept coming into my mind is honest, keeping yourself honest, but that's not what I was personally thinking. I just keep, now when something comes into my mind, I say it. I don't just analyze it, but what I was really, my mind wanted to say is keeping yourself on your own toes rather than being complacent. I don't think of Aries and complacency ever being in the same sentence. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I do a lot of astrology readings, and I do the tarot privately as well. If you like astrological analysis of your chart plus the tarot, I have like a package deal, 2 full-length readings called the Whole Enchilada. If you really want to dive deep into your natal chart, but also get the transits, important transits for the upcoming year, I have a deep dive reading. You can find out more information of these specials and my standalone readings at the link below. Thank you for watching. Have a great month. Bye.